All right, folks, howdy. So today is, let me see here, 22nd of February. I got about a little bit past 9 o'clock. I've been up early this morning. Man, I guess today is technically George Washington's real birthday. But anyway, I want to continue this talk about the storms in Texas. And I wanted to talk about today that grid out there in Texas. Okay, it's a special grid. Now, I don't know a lot about power. I know I have somewhat of elementary school level about about power. I did work alongside when I was in the Army. I worked petroleum with guys that work with generators and that type of stuff. So I know a little bit of something about it. I've service generators and all that, and I've been around generators to help run some of the camps and stuff like that. All right, I was only around when I needed to be. I think if it came to any package petroleum products or fuel and that type of stuff, so I've been exposed to it. So I'm just thinking between what I know in my head and the research I've done. I'm just maybe trying to explain, I don't know, what happened here, why it happened, and then talk to you about the ins and outs about this power grid here. So, Texas power grid is a little unique. One thing I didn't know was Texas was a sufficient power grid. You had one of three power grids here. You had one on the east part of the U.S., the west part, and then the particular grid just for the state of Texas. Now, from what I understand, in 1999, they wanted to go deregulate, but in a different way. A lot of states are deregulating now. Nevada has deregulated, but the way that they do stuff down there, they're doing it like in a standalone way in which they don't want to have anything to do at all with any type of government intervention. I guess, be it if there was an emergency or a catastrophic event. Many of the states out there deregulated too, but I think under certain conditions, okay, to a fault. So this is what I'm learning about this power grid here in Texas. I don't know where it is, but the way that it's set up, okay, must be a centralized power grid, and I know that there's windmills and stuff like that, and they may be subsidiary along with the centralized, that it powers the whole state. Now, the western part of the state, i.e., I believe like El Paso and those cities out there, they are on the west grid. So they have power, okay, out there. However, many of the state in central Texas and eastern Texas don't, because of this particular power grid, okay, and it was unserviceable after the storm that came through, okay. Now, this is documented information. I guess this ERCOT runs it. I like to say it's ran by ERCOT as far as in the maintenance and all that. Now, again, it's to my understanding that they had a storm like this 10 years ago, 2011. It wasn't as bad as it was now, but it was, I guess, after an investigation, the ERCOT or whatever entity that was running that had got a report, I guess, and a recommendation of what needed to be done as far as in upgrading the system. Okay. Now let me interrupt to say this. It's fair that, say, you have busted pipes and all that stuff, all right, because the Texas was not meant, I guess, to have that type of extreme cold weather. It's also fair to say that the electronic infrastructure was not built as well, I guess, for these storms. That's fair to say that. But there was recommended 10 years ago, from what I understand, this is ERCOT, okay, from an investigation from a federal source, saying that they needed to upgrade that grid. And it's documented information that ERCOT decided not to do it because I guess they were cutting corners. That this is what it's all about, really, just cutting corners and saving money. And that's the reason why they became totally deregulated standalone in the first place. All right, and it also gave the customers and the residents, I guess, unlimited options on how they wanted to do their electronic package or whatever. But I guess in the end of the day, these are the results that come out of it. Now, you would think that Texas, with all that oil and fuel and natural gas and all that, okay, they would have an unlimited power source. Okay, out of all fairness, now we get to learn that that's not the case. Now, I know that they capped off a lot of those oil rigs out there in the Gulf and, in Louisiana, East Texas and all that, okay? Many of the fuel now, or the oil now, is in Midland now, okay, or in Oklahoma. And even up there, they stopped fracking and all that different stuff because of the earthquakes, okay, due to fracking. All right, you would think that, but that's not it. So I think a couple of things that were recommended was they would have like some type of long storage, like maybe they have these grid batteries, okay, enough for emergency power for a certain amount of time, okay. Another thing that I thought, all right, was, let's just say if they were getting the power from the windmills and so forth, okay, if they hadn't already done so, they could have, because over the last 10 years they were using natural gas, they could have connected maybe a natural gas source onto the grid, to where if they couldn't get the power from the wind and they didn't have that long-term storage, which they did not, they could use another way, okay? They could refine oil and turn it into petroleum, and they can filter it, through that way. There's a lot of things that they could have done. But from what I understand, it would have been probably like $500,000 to $1 million, okay, to get all this done if it was done 10 years ago, okay? It wouldn't have been a particularly big problem, but, it wasn't done. Now they're going to need to upgrade that whole system. And also as a result, the few people that did have power, it was like 26 million people. 14 million people didn't have power, or they were subject not to have power. And I guess that they had to sustain these, what they call these blackout rollovers. So I guess what they would do is they would have a power for a certain amount of time. They would turn it off and maybe give another area of whatever city or territory power and so forth, one of the two. So the people that did have power, they end up with what, 5,000-7,000. I saw one guy on Google News. He had to pay like $11,000-$12,000 for his damn power bill. This is ridiculous. Okay, I was looking at another source from a lady named Lisa Cabrera. I like listening to her. That they were charging for everything. They were charging for emails, $100 an email. Credit to Lisa Cabrera, by the way, is ma'am. All right, you put out pretty informative, pretty great information. But I'm just disturbed by a lot of this. When you look at the pictures, again, documented information. I looked at images or whatever, okay, of you get cities like Austin, for instance. All right, you get pictures of what it looks like in the outskirts, and then you see the city off of yonder, 10 miles away, and the whole city's lit up or whatever. I'm thinking, what? Now, as far as the city and all that, it's one thing if, like in Austin, I've been there before. If you got essential buildings like the state capitol building, because Austin's the state capital of Texas, hospitals, police station, that type of stuff, then yes, they're going to need power. But a lot of those non-essential government agencies and all that, they have a bunch of bars and clubs and restaurants. They didn't need that power. Okay, so sometimes it's about how, conservation and the changing the flow of power. Okay, and another thing that from what I understand is, you can be, let's say, a mile, 2 miles away from downtown. Okay, on the main drag. Okay, I believe 6th Avenue down on Austin, and there's homes down the street. You could be on the same power line as it is downtown. Downtown will be getting power, and the homes and communities don't get any power. How can this happen? Wow. So I think that, no doubt, when this all fizzes out and when they get that power up, okay, at some point in time, there's going to be a lot of judicial hearings about this. And you best believe that, ladies and gentlemen, y'all guys that live out there in Texas or surrounding areas that you don't have power, yeah, they're going to update that grid. But you're going to pay out of the nose. You're going to pay for that, which is unfortunate. But I don't know. This is just the way the government works or whatever at times or whatever. They're going to wait till things get worse before, there's change, all right? It's like, you see, like right over here by me is this fence right here, okay? I'm over here by a wall, all right? You can see a worker about to slip off the wall. He's slipping and slipping. Nobody don't do nothing about it. But when he falls off the wall and breaks his leg, then, they'll do something about it, okay? Maybe, I don't know, they put Constantine wire on top of it, or they'll put a sign on and say, stay off the top of the wall or whatever, okay? I'm bugged out by this. Now, it's fair to say that some measures could have been taken by the government, but I said on the last video about the storms, and I'm saying on this one, that it's really going to be up to you in the end of the day to prepare for yourself and try to, play like there's no government. Again, you guys may have to look at getting investing like in a power into a generator. That's gas power, that's something that can hold you down. They also have battery powered generators and stuff like that. Water, okay, and water is a different issue right there. Okay, that's so I don't know the plan of attack they want to do about insulated water pipes and all that. You can do that stuff in your own home. Okay, I mean, so you guys may have to think about upgrading and preparing yourself in that kind of way, and then along with your other necessities like water and food and stuff like that. Your canned goods and your little, what we call them in the Army, like MRE type stuff or whatever. You take them out of a box or whatever, something to hold you down. Okay, for a few days. But it's something to learn. Wow. But that's just the way the Texas that grid works and all that. All right. I mean, there could be a better way. It's a Republican state, tax-free. So you figure that they're tax-free, that they have a strong money base. They're putting money in all them stadiums and all that stuff. Okay. Got a brand new stadium for the Texas Rangers that they were going to open up, but they didn't because of COVID. But it's like little stuff like this. Like when you go into cities or whatever, you got all that nice stuff downtown or whatever. And then the infrastructure, for the residents or whatever is jacked up. Unless you're going to be in a neighborhood that you're going to pay a lot of money to live in or whatever. And look how it is there, okay? You still kind of assed out. I'm sorry to say that, but it's what it is. People got to go to warming cities to go warm up. So all I can just encourage you is you just do everything you can to prepare. Me, I'm prepared, quite frankly, or whatever. I think I got a couple of cues I have to work on as far as that, but I will fix it or whatever. I'm just, and I live in Las Vegas. So I am fortunate, and the people that have not been fortunate were fortunate not to sustain any type of adverse weather. Should be thankful for what they have and maybe try to donate whatever you can. I'm going to try to find some sites where I can try to donate what I can. I don't know, like Red Cross, or I don't know, bottled water and stuff like that. So it's just something to think about. So, you know, we got to cover all those areas and all that. Any of my family and friends out there that are Texas or whatever, that's, you know, Godspeed. I understand it's like 70 degrees in some areas. So, you know, that's it for now. And if you like this video, feel free to subscribe, leave your comments, likes, and shares. Okay? And stay tuned for the next video. I will be talking more about this issue or whatever. Okay? Maybe either the water system there, okay, and this fake snow. So stay tuned for that. Y'all have a wonderful day.